Has anybody seen my shoes? Check your shoes. Make sure that they're your shoes. I can't find my shoes. Does anybody have my shoes?
On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Thank you.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Seriously, just take a second and look down at your shoes. Make sure that they are your shoes. I am missing my I cannot find them. I know I had them yesterday because I wore them. And then I took them off last night before I went to bed. Sometimes I forget to take my shoes off before I go to bed just in case I go sleepwalking. But I did take them off and now I can't find them. They're not there. So please check and make sure that your shoes are your shoes. This happens a lot. People put my shoes on by mistake. Oh, here they are. I found them. Never mind. I can't seem to find my pants. Could you just look down, check your pants, and make sure they're your pants? Sometimes people confuse their pants with my pants. I can't find my pants, so I took my pants off. I gotta go clothes shopping later on after the show and buy some pants. Can't find my pants. Shouldn't it be you can't find your pant? Pants would be like two pants. But I can't find my pant would be more accurate. No, Ron, it's a pair of pants. So each leg is a pant? What? Ron, did you put on a clear, what? Anyway, welcome to the program. I am Ron Van Dam. It's the Ron Van Dam Show, conveniently named by a panel of judges. Pleasure to be with you on this fine day. Boom, boom. I do this show every single weekday, a brand new show. It's not because I love doing it. It's a matter of community service to pay my debt to society somehow. I don't know why you're listening. I don't know what you did wrong. I'm just going to take a moment of your time. Actually, it's going to be about half an hour. I'll take a moment of your time to explain something to you. Because of what I do and have done for 3 decades, I keep on top of the news as best I can. You don't. I know you don't, and you shouldn't. You're not in the business. Why would you bother? You have things to do. You got to go to a job. You got to cook dinner. You got to look for your pants. You got stuff to do. I get it. And you just hear about the stuff that filters through Facebook. But listen to me. I pay attention to this stuff. I actually sat down and started reading the Mueller report because I thought at some point it would get funny, but it didn't. I've actually started to read it, and I've gotten quite far through it. It's involved. Here's what's important to understand. Just listen to me like for 2 minutes, and I'll help clarify everything for you. Robert Mueller, the special investigator, actually stood in front of the cameras yesterday in a formal statement that lasted just really a couple of minutes. And he clarified what he's been doing for the past 2 years, because there's been some confusion, apparently, as to what his report actually says, because nobody reads the damn report. They read part of it, but they don't read all of it. And you got to read all of it because that's what the report is for. The big thing that Trump is saying is that I'm totally exonerated. Mueller found no collusion, no obstruction. Put to bed, it's over, let's move on. That was a waste of time. How dare you? Let's investigate how this thing even ever happened. Well, Don, apparently you didn't read the report. And Mueller felt compelled on his own to talk to the people of this country as to explain exactly what the report is all about. Here's the major line that he said, and I quote, Robert Mueller, as set forth in the report, after the investigation, and here's the big part, if we had confidence that the president did not clearly commit a crime, we would have said so. Did you hear that? Let me repeat it because I stumbled a bit. As set forth in the report after the investigation, if we had confidence that the president did not clearly commit a crime, we would have said so. In the report, it does not say that the president did not clearly commit a crime. Therefore, the president could have committed a crime. That's the report says. Apparently, what Mueller was doing was saying, I cannot indict a president. And that's the other thing that Mueller made very, very clear. The special investigator and his team, Robert Mueller, cannot indict a sitting president. It's interpreted as being against the law. You can't jail, arrest a sitting president. That's the law. I didn't make it up. That's the law. Mueller knew when the investigation began that he could not do this. So there was no reason to indict the sitting president of the United States. Do you understand? That's the reason why President Trump was not indicted, because you can't do that by law. So Mueller said, why even go there? How can I even arrest the guy if you're not supposed to arrest the guy? Did he obstruct justice? I'm not saying that he didn't. So that's the crux of this. Set forth in the Mueller report, the part that I did read, there are at least 10 points where the president obstructed justice. Or certainly, there's a real good argument for it. Mueller couldn't do anything about it. It's not that he didn't have enough evidence, but he spelled out the evidence that he does have. That's where Congress comes in. What Mueller was saying is, I can't do this as a special investigator for what I was committed to do, but Congress can. And I've put in the report 10 instances that look like you should look at them. If I believed, and I'll repeat this, I'll clear up what Mueller said, but I did read the quote. What Mueller is saying, look, if I thought the president wasn't guilty of any of this, I would have said so. I didn't say that. Ooh. So that's where it stands. Look, you support the president because you think you're getting what you want, and you're turning a blind eye to just how moronic and stupid and petty and awful he is. But you're getting what you want as far as your little laws are concerned and your way of life and all that. But actually, you're not, but that's besides the point. I'm just saying that's the Mueller report. The Mueller report does not let the president off the hook. Actually, what he did here was he put the president on the hook. It's up to Congress to take care of that. So that's all. I just wanted to clear that up. the president saying that I've been exonerated, this is all over, I didn't obstruct justice, I didn't collude with the Russians, Mueller didn't say anywhere in his report that I did. That is false. Mueller's report says if I didn't think he committed a crime, I would have said I thought he didn't commit a crime. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's like a double negative. But that's what he said. If you're smart enough to understand that, then I think you'll be alarmed. And I think this is the match that is going to start the fire, really, at this point. I'm just waiting. I used to watch The Apprentice, and I'm just waiting for the day when the American public sits Trump down at the board table of life. And now Trump's on the other end of the board table, and the American people say, Donald Trump, you're fired. Wow, that would be a great ending to The Apprentice.
Ron Van Dam is different than most podcast hosts. He really understands his audience.
They like to be smacked and whipped.
Well, I think we're going to get along just fine. You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show.
It's true. That's true. I can't deny it. You are listening to it. And I hope that you stay here for at least a couple of minutes. Do you do this every once in a while? I'll admit that I don't. But at times in my life, I had. Feeling perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. I'm walking in the bathroom and I see that thermometer that you put in your mouth to see if you got a temperature or not. Sometimes I'll stick it in my mouth just to show myself how normal I am. But here's the funny part. That doesn't show how normal you are in your head. That just says that your body doesn't have a temperature. I interpret it to be, Ron, you're completely normal. You're like everybody else. That's not true. You can't, if you could stick the thermometer in your ear and take the temperature of your brain, I think the mercury would break. Thermometers have changed over nothing changes over the years except thermometers. Yeah. When I was a kid and my mother suspected that I had a temperature, she would take the thermometer and stick it in a vat of Vaseline. And I always knew what that meant. Then she would tell me to lie on my stomach and bend over. That there are no sexual connotations to that for me. She would take the thermometer laden in Vaseline and stick it up my ass. And I always felt like saying, Mom, this doesn't feel right. People sticking stuff up my ass for any reason just doesn't seem proper. So she would do that, and very frequently, it took 2 or 3 times for her to find my insertion point of entry. And I'd for about 2-3 minutes, I'd sit there with my ass in the air, and it gave me enough time during the 2 or 3 minutes to feel totally embarrassed. I'm sticking my ass in the air. There's a stick coming out of my ass, and my mother's standing there. It just, to this day, it gives me the willies. Then she would take the thermometer out of my ass very, very carefully as not to destroy anything. And she would say, oh, you're fine. And I would say, well, except for my mental state now. Then I got a little bit older, and the thermometers would be stuck in my mouth. They would go under my tongue, and no matter how I would try to keep the thermometer under my tongue, the thermometer would keep trying to get out from under my tongue. The thermometer apparently had a mind of its own and said, I'm not staying in here. This is disgusting. I'm going to try to wiggle my way out of the tongue and make sure that's a bad reading, because this is not right. And that was phase number 2. Then apparently the U.S. government, wherever they are, they outlawed mercury. I guess all of a sudden. I guess one day some guys were sitting around a board table at the International Mercury Association and said, you know, this mercury that we put in the thermometers, all of a sudden, I'm not feeling real good about that. Are people dying from mercury poisoning from sticking thermometers in their mouth and up the ass? No, it's not just that. It's just that I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm just uncomfortable about an element being put in a glass container and then shoved into people's bodies. I'm just uncomfortable with it. So they outlawed that thing, and they got into the digital age, you see. The digital age, you could still put the thermometer in your mouth and up your ass, but there was no mercury in it. There was just a little battery in the handle. And now you've got your ass in the air, and after 2 minutes, it beeps. A totally different experience. And all of a sudden, people started realizing, this doesn't make sense. When I used to have the mercury old thermometers, I was 98.6. With the digital, for some reason, that's not normal anymore. Now it's 98.2 or 0.4 for some reason. How did that change? Was that a government thing again? Where people were sitting around a table at the International Temperature Taking Convention? Said, you know, the body temperature has been 98.6 for a long time. And frankly, it's getting kind of boring. Same number. Let's make it 98.4. You want to make it 98.2? Let's just change things up a little bit. Fine, we'll change the body temperature, the international body temperature. I mean, 98.4. How about that? Okay, fine. And then technology really started catching up to us. And now you could take the digital thermometer and put it under your armpit. Just stick it in your armpit. There's no hole in there. There's nothing. But if you caress the thermometer under your armpit, you can get an accurate temperature reading there. And I thought, oh, great, this is the end of sticking up the ass. Yeah, but the only drawback to that is after you take your temperature, don't smell the thermometer. It's not going to smell real good. Worse than sticking it up the ass? Yeah, even worse. Wow. Then, then they came out with a thermometer, but it doesn't have a pointy end. It has a little cup at the end, and you put this on your temple. But what if I'm not Jewish? No, you don't understand. Your temple on your head, you know, that area near your forehead, near your ear, that apparently tells your temperature very accurately. Really? Why there? Oh, just thought that was a nice place to do it. I really don't. Why wouldn't you take the thermometer and stick it in your nose? It's an option, I guess, and we never tried that. But let's try the temple thing, and that's I have that. I have the strange little contraption. Looks like it's from Star Trek, and you place the head of the thermometer thing on your temple, and that supposedly gives you an accurate reading. I don't know if it's true or not because I just can't tell. The beeping confuses me. It beeps once if the thermometer is ready to do the reading, beeps twice if the reading's over, beeps 3 times if there's a fire in the basement, beeps 4 times if someone's trying to break into your car while you're taking your temperature. I cannot interpret the beeps involved here. I don't know if I'm sick or whether somebody has tried to break into my house. I cannot. The beeping is driving me nuts. I guess I'm all right. But we do need something that takes the temperature of our brain. I think that would be very fitting, where you take this instrument, you put it on your head, on the top of your head, and the instrument will tell you, like, wow, you're getting really stupid. You're not doing things right. You're getting very unintelligent here, Ron. Yeah, that would be really cool, right? You get up in the morning and you say, well, start of a beautiful day. The sun is out. Got some good stuff going on. Let me take my brain temperature. Oh, yeah. I'm ready to go. Really, huh? That would be good. Go to the doctor. All right, Ron. We're going to take your brain temperature. Uh-oh. Now, don't move, like for 1 minute. Oh, there's the beep. Let me see. Oh, my God, you're stupid. I got to put that in my chart. Well, how's my blood pressure? I don't care. You're stupid. What good is your blood pressure if you're stupid? Are you kidding me? Whatever happened to the little hammer? You know that little hammer? It doesn't drive in nails into wood or anything. It's made of rubber. The head of it is made of rubber. And the doctor would say, sit on the end of this uncomfortable, whatever this is, table, couch. I don't even know what this is. It's like a 3-foot bed. I don't know what that thing is. The examining table. Could you have invented something that's more uncomfortable than an examining table? It's just odd. I mean, and then you got paper on the top of the examining table couch thing. What is that? I feel like I'm at a butcher shop and you're wrapping meat. I mean, what is this? What am I lying on here? So I'd sit at the end, and the doctor would come over with this little hammer, and he'd hit what he said. Oh, now dangle your legs over the end of this couch table, whatever this thing is. I don't even know what it is. And they would hit your knee with the hammer, and apparently, what's supposed to happen is your leg is supposed to move, you see. And to this day, I have no idea what that means. I don't think it means anything. I just think the doctor is taking out his or her frustrations on your knee. That's all. What does this prove, doctor? It proves that you people annoy me, and it's the only opportunity I get to smack you with a hammer. If they come out with a real hammer, you know that they're really pissed. I know that my knees, when they hit my knee, my leg is supposed to move, so I kind of involuntarily make it voluntary, and I move the knee anyway to show that, in the scheme of things, maybe I'm about to die, but I got a good leg going on here. I got a good leg. Let me put that in your chart. You got a good leg. You're stupid. You have high blood pressure. But your leg is connected real well to your knee. Congratulations. I don't know what that proves. The other thing the doctor doesn't do anymore is stick your tongue out. It's an old joke. It's an old Henny Youngman joke. Guy goes into a doctor's office. The doctor says, stick your tongue out. And the patient says, why? He says, I don't, because I don't like my neighbor. Actually, you're facing the window. I told the joke wrong. I'm not good at jokes. I'm sorry. I'm not good at jokes. I'm really not good at jokes. So anyway, these are the doctors who say, stick your tongue out, and then they would take a popsicle stick with no popsicle on it and depress my tongue and see how far back they could depress my tongue before I threw up on them. That's really, I think that was the test there. It's like, how much can I depress your tongue? If your tongue is depressed, it means you're depressed, and we have to put you on medication. And the other thing they do is they look in your ears. And I don't know why. Are they trying to see if they can see the sunlight coming out the other end? Why are they looking in my ear? Yeah, I have earwax sometimes if I don't clean my ears out with the Q-tips that I'm not supposed to use to clean my ears out. If you're not supposed to use Q-tips to clean the wax out of your ears, how are you supposed to get the wax out of your ears? Don't come running to me. So the doctor, there's a little flashlight thing, and there's a cone at the end, and they stick the cone in your ear, and then they look in your ear, and they never say anything. It's always like, So what are you doing? Why are you doing these things to me? Do these things actually tell you anything? Or is this something you learned in medical school, that you do these things in order to exert authority upon somebody? How do you control a human being? You just stick things in their body and they will feel subservient to you. Oh, I like that. It's very confusing. Very confusing. Very, very confusing. It makes no sense whatsoever. Our guest is standing by.
Are you the sort of person who feels vicarious excitement at the prospect of a robust discount? Then you need to pay us a visit at Jerome Cherrington's Emporium of Preposterous Values. Each and every day, our standard pricing model is an absolute affront to common retailing practices and could indeed be seen as an indication of mental instability. Consider, if you will, a 24-pack of your favorite coffee pods, if one happens to drink such a thing, a mere $2.99. Is that sensible in the least? No, I tell you, it is not. And what of this? Common T-shirts with witty sayings upon them, suitable for men, women, and children, depending upon how you've raised them, 10 for $6. This is uncanny pricing that quite simply flies in the face of all possible reason, and the only explanation for this behavior on my part is that I am not sane, frankly. Do not take my word for it. Instead, find your way here to Jerome Cherrington's Emporium of Preposterous Values, just off the motorway and beyond the roundabout, where our everyday retailing decisions are simply unnatural.
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Great. Anthony Schneider is with us. He's an author. His latest novel is a romantic thriller set in Brooklyn and Sicily. That's the same thing, isn't it? All right. And it's called Lowdown, and apparently this it's capped as a mafia romantic thriller. I can see that. It's interesting to have the two dichotomies of romance and mafia. How does that work
Exactly.
in? How does that work in?
Well, it's a story about a made man, which is a sort of mafia captain who sort of stupidly, but we can't explain falls in love with another man's woman. And so he's having an affair with another man's guy, and they're truly and deeply in love. And right when they're thinking, how do they get together and get away, a snitch turns in the family. Jimmy, who's our main character, gets arrested. The husband of the woman he loves flees. That's why she goes to Sicily, and sort of all hell breaks loose, and the world turns upside down for them. So that's how the book starts, really.
Sounds good. Sounds like a mafia Romeo and Juliet in a way, but worse,
exactly
pretty
right.
much worse. I guess when the mafia gets involved, it complicates situations as far as that's concerned.
Yes,
Okay.
it does indeed.
It does. Now, how did you come up with this? What kind of research do you do for a book like this? Do you have to get into the mafia and into the romance thing? I mean, where do you go?
Yeah, well, once I started thinking about this character, which is a real sort of historical occurrence. He's not based on a real character, but a lot of these guys were getting out of prison after 15 or 20 years or so.
Wow.
And so once that was my character, and then I wanted him to have this great, beautiful love affair, then I started reading about it. So there's a lot of books about the American mafia, the Italian mafia, and wise guys, and books by snitches.
Yeah, they do well.
As far as the prison bits goes, there's books about being in prison. So I read a lot.
Yeah. It's interesting, the mafia kind of book theme, because you have these tough, hard guys that'll think of nothing of murdering, but at the same time, they're soft-hearted family people who express love and compassion. It's an interesting juggling act of both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's as you say, it's a weird dichotomy.
Yes.
And the one thing that I was interested in as I started writing the book is he's kind of a good guy, this Jimmy. He's nice and he's kind and he's a gentleman, as you say, and he's a romantic lover and all of that. On the other hand, he kills people and he's arranging the murder of another guy. So these good guy, bad guys, I think they're interesting.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about yourself, about your history with writing.
So this is my second book. As was pointed out to me in another interview, I came to this country as a young child.
Yep.
And I'm interested in immigrants. So in a way, this is yet another immigrant story, because the mafia is an immigrant story.
Yes.
And then Milena, the lover in the book, goes to Sicily, and she becomes an immigrant herself. And then I throw in some of the African immigrants to Sicily. So, in a way, maybe I didn't know that when I thought, oh, I'd like to write a book about a guy who was in the mafia and fell in love with someone. But it kind of worked its way in there.
Wow. What's the best part of writing this book?
Of course, there's days when writing is fun, but as any writer will tell you, there's more days when it isn't fun. So I think, honestly, the best part for me is connecting with people. There's, the email you get from an old friend you haven't heard from in many years who said, your book is great and made me cry, or that review on Amazon that really gets it, or, I saw someone reading my book on the subway.
Really?
All of that's very satisfying, and there's a kind of connection there, which is great.
That's great. Wow, you're in the subway and you see somebody else reading your book. Wow.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty much job done, accomplished. Did it. Very nice. Do you have any ties to Brooklyn yourself?
Well, I'm a New Yorker. As it happens, I live in Manhattan, but a bunch of my friends live in Brooklyn, so I know Brooklyn pretty well. And of course, because I had to research it, writing can be very difficult. I had to go to Sicily a couple of times, which was an absolute pleasure, and it was just beautiful and a great place to visit. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
I know people in Brooklyn who have never been to Manhattan. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird stuff. Yeah, it is. And again, you've mentioned previously that the message is that that love kind of just kind of takes over. Love and romance kind of eats through everything and rises to the top.
Yeah, well, we hope so. I mean, it's definitely it's a love story. It's definitely a book about love, but does love prevail? Can love survive 25 years and win in the end? Will there be a happy ending? I'm not going to give that away.
Well, we can't say, got to read the book. And it doesn't have to be on the subway. You can read it anywhere.
Exactly.
I think. But if Anthony's on the subway again and sees somebody else reading it, I mean, that's even better. It's called Lowdown. It's Lowdown, and it is good reading, and I do recommend it. Thank you so much for your time today. Oh, by the way,
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Before we go, Anthony, is there a website where people can follow your works?
There sure is. Anyone can take a look at my website, which is www.anthonyschneider.com, and it's SCHNEIDER.com.
Perfect. Thanks. Good talk. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks again.
All right. Bye-bye. There you have it. Another one bites the dust, huh? Yeah. I could play that song, but I'm not supposed to because there are certain places that play our show, such as YouTube, on a daily basis, and they don't like it when you have copyrighted music involved, so we don't do that. Anyway. Hey, have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. Oh my God. Stick a thermometer in your body somewhere, the body part of your choice, and make sure that you're in good shape each and every day. And I'll be with you again tomorrow. Until then, I wish you peace.